Hello and welcome everyone. This is Minu at Anglo-Link. Today's video is about word order. That's the way that native speakers arrange their words in a sentence. By the end of the video, you will have a good understanding of how to sequence your words to construct an English sentence. This will help you in two ways. First of all, it will improve your listening comprehension because you will be able to predict what type of information is likely to be next in a sentence. It will also improve your own fluency because by learning the English word order, you will be able to stop thinking in your own language and translating word for word into English. Now, I've divided this lesson into two parts. In the first part, we're going to look at sentence structure, and in the second part, we're going to look at the position of adverbs, like usually, currently, sometimes, etc. So please remember to subscribe so we can let you know when the second part of the lesson is online. When you're ready, we can begin with the first part of this lesson on word order.
Word order, part 1. In this part, we're going to focus on sentence structure. The most common order of the different elements of a sentence in English is who, what, where, when, how, and why. Who, what, where, when, how, and why. A sentence usually begins with who, that's a subject, followed by what, a verb. For example, John called, or the bus returned. Notice that the subject can be a person or a thing. Now, some verbs require an object. The object is also part of the what element, so make sure you keep the verb and its object together. Some verbs take a direct object. For example, John ate breakfast. The bus hit the tree. And some verbs take an indirect object. That's an object that comes after a preposition. For example, John spoke to Julie, or the bus collided with the tree. Now, once you have your basic structure with who and what, you can add the other elements in the following order: where, when, how, and why. Now, not every sentence will have all these four elements. There will be a selection of them in each sentence. Let's look at some examples. John called. When? Earlier. And why? To cancel his appointment. John ate breakfast. Where? On the train. When? This morning. And why? Because he was late. The bus returned. Where? To the station. Why? To drop off the passengers. The bus hit the tree. How? With great force. Now, if one of these elements is composed of different parts, we usually go from the smaller unit to the larger one. For example, if there are different elements of when, the conference started at 10 a.m. on Tuesday last week. the smaller element of when, time, at 10 a.m., day, on Tuesday, and then week, last week. If you have different elements of where, once again, we go from the smaller one to the larger one. They live in a flat, in a big city, in India. A flat, the city, and then the country. Right, there's a specific case I'd like to mention now. You may occasionally hear a sentence start with an element other than who. This happens when you want to emphasize that element, and remember that your voice should emphasize it as well. And in written form, you should separate that element from the sentence with a comma. Just make sure that there is a good reason for emphasizing the element that you're putting at the beginning of the sentence, or you will sound unnatural.